Hi, I'm Josh Lane with the Eight Shields Institute here in Santa Cruz, California, and welcome back for another episode of Nature Connection Basics, our web series here sharing the core routines of nature connection as they're presented in Coyote's Guide to Connecting with Nature. So far we've looked at finding a set spot on the landscape, a place where we can connect in a deep way with all of our senses over time, getting to know that place through all the seasons. And we've also shared a routine called owl eyes for expanding our senses while we're there, and a process called fox walking that helps us really tune in through our movement to the rhythms on the landscape. So today we'd like to share another practice that revolves around developing a sense of gratitude. There's a lot of great research out there supporting the benefits of gratitude in our lives and why this is important. And particularly, I'm really inspired by the research at the Emmons Lab at UC Davis here in California. And at that research institute, they've looked at the effects of cultivating gratitude on a regular basis. And they had people every week just keep a simple gratitude journal, looking back on their week and journaling things that they're grateful for, compared to another group that was journaling things of a more neutral nature or even some negative things. They each had the group doing one of those things. And of course what they found is the group that journaled their gratitude had improvements in all different areas of their lives, ranging from exercising more to just feeling more optimism about their week coming up and actually feeling more aliveness and vitality too. So you can see from this research how helpful it is to cultivate that sense of gratitude in our lives. So we'll share a really simple and fun way to do this that can also develop a great presence and connection in the moment while you're at your sit spot. So what we're going to do here is basically go to our sit spot. You could do this right now along with me, but if you get out to your sit spot, in Zen they talk about cultivating the beginner's mind. And it's that idea that can we get to our sit spot as if we've never been there before, as if it's a whole new experience. So letting go of our preconceptions about that place, what we think we know about it, and going there for the first time. And so what we do is we just start at the ground, start with the earth around you, and you can even feel with your hands the soil or smell the scent of the earth. Maybe it just rained and there's that fresh scent of the earth coming up. So really get into your senses and look around you, smell, hear what's going on. Maybe you'll hear little animals moving across the ground like shrews or mice, or even watch little ants moving. But just feel your connection with the earth as you do this and realize for yourself how the earth supports you in your life in so many different ways. And in that awareness, allow space for a sense of gratitude to arise for the earth. And as you do this, you can work your way up, next going up to the plants and just looking around you at all the low-growing plants on the ground, thinking about all the medicines we get from the plants and all the foods and the ways that they help us. And really ask the question, what's happening with the plants today at my spot? Because what's happening today is going to be a little different than what happened yesterday or even what's going to happen tomorrow. Even during the day you can look at the plant and notice that many of them will track the sun with their leaves. As the sun moves across the sky, their leaves will follow it to catch that light. So literally there's change happening at your sit spot all the time, and this is a practice that helps us tune into it as we ask, what's happening right now at my sit spot? So tuning in with those plants, opening that sense of appreciation for how they tie into your life and support your life, and feel that gratitude arise naturally. And just working your way up to sense the waters that are out on the landscape. Maybe you have a creek nearby or a pond, or awareness of where the water is on the landscape, and even if there's none right there that you can see moving across the surface, you can tune in internally because our body is made up of a lot of water inside. So really we do have that intimate connection with the waters. So just realize that life comes from the water. Without it we wouldn't have life. You can only live 3 days without water, or 4 days maybe. So really tune into that and let that appreciation flow as you connect with the waters around you. And just we keep moving up here in this process, and then paying attention to the animals on the landscape. Maybe you saw a squirrel in your yard that day, or maybe there's some other wild animals around, or maybe you have pets, and just thinking about how animals support you in your life in that connection, and thinking about the sign that you saw that day. Maybe you encountered something on the trail as you walked to your sit spot that relates to the animals. Maybe you saw some tracks or other mysteries. So having that awareness cultivated for the animals around you, then work your way up next to the shrubs and thinking about just looking around. What's happening with the shrubs? You know, are they in flower right now, the shrubs and trees, or do they have fruit on them? Or maybe it's wintertime and their energy's gone back to their roots into the ground. So having awareness of the trees and the shrubs and all the life they bring to the landscape. Moving up next, up to the birds. So we're working our way into the sky now, and just awareness of what's happening with the birds right now. Are they singing? Are they alarming? Is it quiet? What birds are in your yard that you have a relationship with? Maybe you see that robin in your yard every day and you're getting to know that robin. So just tune in with a sense of awareness for those birds that are in your yard and in your life. And moving up further, you can sense the air on your skin and just feel the breeze. Maybe it's a strong breeze that day, or maybe it's a light breeze you can barely feel. Just notice the skin on your face, the skin on your arms, on the back of your neck, and feel where the breeze is coming from. Just tune in with that sense of connection with the sky and with the clouds, and for the weather, the rains that nourish the earth. Just tune in on all these levels and connect in a deeper way with these aspects of the sky. Maybe you can look up and even predict what's going to happen in a couple days with the weather as you get to know the patterns at your sit spot, because often there are these patterns, and with time you can get pretty good at predicting what weather patterns are moving through. It's a fun art to cultivate for a lifetime. And moving up even further, just recognize the moon and what phase the moon is in. And it's a really fun awareness test, even if you can't see the moon right now, to try to guess where it is in the sky, and to point towards it, and to picture what phase it's in right now. Just remember too the cycle of the waters that's tied to the moon around this world, and so many cycles of life, the movement of the animals, and the different changes that happen even within us as humans, all tied to the phases of the moon and that cycle every month. So tune into that as well, and just feel that respect and appreciation, that interconnection of life that's tied to the moon. And working your way up, you can go up all the way to the sun and just realize all the processes of life on the earth are so directly tied to the sun and that energy that's streaming down from 93 million miles away. How it just brings life here to this earth. So just tune into that and to what's happening around you, where the sun is, where the pockets of shade are in your area. Where would you go on a hot summer day to get cool from that sun, and where would you go on a really cold winter day to warm up and find a pocket of sun? So tune in on that level, and then move up to the stars and just remember all the stories that are up there from so many cultures painted across the sky and the night sky. And maybe you have some mysteries of your own around the stars in your yard. You know, where is the North Star at night? Or if you live in the Southern Hemisphere, where's the Southern Cross at night? You know, trying to find these things and tune in and get a sense of direction from them too, because it's said that the stars always help us find our way. And up beyond that, we're moving into the more internal and mysterious aspect of creativity, out to the four directions. These are always there around us. We always find ourselves in the center of the four directions wherever we are. And maybe you have some landmarks around you. Maybe there's a hill or a big tree off in one direction or another, and it's great to tune in just while you're at your spot. You know, where are you in relation to these directions? Are you facing a certain direction? And just tune in and realize that wherever you are, no matter how far you walk or wander on this earth, that you're always going to find yourself in the middle of those four directions and above and below. And that's a really nice way to ground yourself and center yourself while you're at your spot. And lastly, just tuning into that cycle of time and the movement of culture and the movement of life across time. Just thinking back to all the previous generations, the ancestors, not just of people, but of all the beings on this earth. And remembering that here we are in the center, from them moving to us and now into the future generations too. And just thinking of that life which is coming, and that we get to be in the center of that right here in this moment. And to just feel the connection of that ties back both backwards and forwards in time. And then finally in the center of that, just centering in your own body, just feeling your own connection with your creativity that moves within you in your life. Maybe that manifests in a particular way for you, but just having that gratitude for that function of creativity that moves us forward in our lives. So that's a big cycle right there, thinking about moving from the ground all the way up to the sky and out in all directions, and then into the center as well, where that creativity moves. And so it's a nice way to just tune in on a lot of different levels while you're at your sit spot, and it's a way to cultivate presence, because we can ask what's happening with each of these things right now. It's a little different than yesterday, or maybe it'll be different tomorrow, but what's happening right now? And it's a doorway to open all of our senses as we do this and cultivate that gratitude within. So thanks for joining us today on this Nature Connection Basics episode here, and I hope that this has been helpful for you, and that you can get out and try these things at your sit spot and see what happens, and develop your own practices that are meaningful and alive for you and your nature connection.